This week the story takes an interesting turn. We're still in the time of Judges in chapter 9, but we pause for a short story, the story of Ruth and her mother-in-law, Naomi. It's really the story about God's people doing everything wrong and God turning it out for the good. So for instance, Naomi and her husband, because of a drought, they moved to Moab. They shouldn't do that. That's Israel's enemy. While they're there, their two sons, they marry Moabite women, prohibited by God. They weren't supposed to do that. In the end, Naomi's husband and the two sons die. That leaves Naomi and her two daughters-in-law. So Ruth decides to go with Naomi back to Israel. She shouldn't have done that. She's a Moabite woman. She was really taking her life into her hands. It seems like every time you turn around in the story, they're doing something that isn't right or doesn't make sense. And yet in the end, God in his upper story brings everything together to the point that the ancestors, the great-grandson of Ruth, is David. And we know that David, his line, turns into Jesus. It's just an incredible example about how God takes things in our life, even when we're doing the wrong thing, things that don't make sense, and yet his ability to use that and bring it all together for his ultimate good. Myself, I can think of several examples of how God's done that in my life. But what's more important is, what examples can you think of where God took things that seemed all wrong and made it just right?